Congratulations! You successfully finished our training. I'm so proud that you invested in your knowledge. Knowledge is gonna make you successful. Knowledge is gonna help you to build dispatch service. Knowledge will bring you money, and I am so proud of you. Let's see now. We'll start with Kim. Kim, why do you want to be a dispatcher? What do you think after today's practice, after all the trainings, what do you think about logistics trucking? Do you still want to pursue, and would you recommend our class? What do you think?
I absolutely recommend you. This is not the first course I took. I took another course and I didn't get nearly as much detailed information that I can validate, spreadsheets, just you gave me the whole gamut. I was so happy. I told my sister, I was like, you're not going to believe this, but I think she's awesome. She's just like my sister, a little direct.
Wow, but do you understand after today in this talking, you do have to be direct?
Absolutely. Get right to the point.
Yeah.
Get right to the
May
point.
I ask you this? The other class was a live or pre-recorded?
It was pre-recorded. And then 2 days a week, you would dial in and he would talk. But now he's talking. And the thing I think that bothered me the most, he was like, we're going to get right to the point right after this. So you're listening to him for 45 minutes and then he wants to give you the answer. And I'm like, okay, no, you just wasted all my time and energy.
Wow, was it a good energy?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I looked him up. I did all my research. It got down in the very beginning between you and him, and I went with him. And it was great for starting a company. I think he's more into marketing, but to get the meat and potatoes for what I'm going to be doing on the daily basis, I did not get. And you absolutely gave me meat, potatoes, and gravy. And I spotted a biscuit or two.
Thank you
So
so
I
much.
got a complete meal.
And that's not because we are saying that some classes, but some classes are actually heavy on marketing, and that people go because they buy that, oh my God, that's what's going to happen. The thing
Yes,
is, when the person does not dispatch every day, it's a different thing, right? Even when you do mentoring, well, you can sit and blah, blah, blah about trucking in general, right? An hour goes
exactly.
by, 2 hours goes by, but you don't really see example from today. You don't see the rate confirmation from today. That blah, blah, blah is not really validating what's going on today. Making those phone calls
Exactly.
today, this is the reality of trucking. So again,
Mhm.
it's not because we want to say, well, Dispatch Training Center is the best, but honestly, we are the best.
You are the best.
I agree.
Thank you. So we are very lucky. And again, today you start in a lower, right? You have to reread, you have to multitask, and it's going to be easy because you're going to have organized. And we want to have that review with mentioning that it was not your first choice. And we even share the names. So it was hard decision for you, go between kind of the same names, different
Exactly. And
personalities.
I made the mistake of choosing the other one, but I'm so glad that I just put aside the money. I was like, Kim, if you don't know what you're doing, how can I move forward? And I said, I need to be educated in this field. I'm a project manager of 25 years in corporate banking. This is completely outside of my realm. I'm used to just working with project plans and keep going. But since then, through the market, times have changed. I ended up unemployed and I said, I don't want to work for anyone else. I want to work for myself. My mother's getting older. I said, you know what? Time to think about working from home.
But Kim, as a project manager, do you understand importance of foundation first? Like
Yes,
strong foundation, even that operational cost. Market goes back and down, but you still need to understand how to put together everything. So that's why I do believe learning how to post delete trucks, it's no brainer, right? Go
Right.
and learn about equipment. Yeah, you can learn after 1, 2, 3 weeks that this has e-track, has swing doors. It's also not a big, but putting the logical thinking together, logical and cutting nonsense out, this is the most important. But without foundation, you cannot do that. You cannot.
Exactly.
Thank you, Kim. We're very pleased to have you in the class. Let's go to Maya. What is things we need to do in the morning as a dispatcher? The first thing you have to do.
You have to give the updates or to check and then
Check market
update.
conditions.
First, we have to make sure we go and log into what? To ELD, right? We have to make sure that all the trucks are still on schedule, right? How many hours are going to be left? Are they there? So this is the first thing. Secondary, we need to give updates. If somebody's already got unloaded, we have to make sure we send them what? PODs, right? Thank you for the load. Was delivered. No OSNDs. No overages, shortages, damages. Let me know when you have the next load. Is that important nowadays to start building a relationship with those brokers? Because believe it or not, do you see that you cannot depend on TQL load board, on the DAT load board? Nowadays, you have to be proactive. So if you know that this load work out and this lady or this guy tells you, well, I do this 3 times a week, and next one's going to be on Friday, well, maybe you can route your truck that you're going to end up here again on Friday and take the same load, right? That would be smart decision to do nowadays. Okay. After that, we are posting our trucks, right? We posting them. Did anybody receive phone calls today, really? Not
No.
really, because
Mhm.
market is very tough. But then when market is good, you are receiving phone calls. That's why a lot of dispatchers, they're afraid of posting equipment. They're afraid of the phone calls, right? You should never be afraid, because usually if they call you, that means that they need your truck. So the negotiation power in your hands. At this market, of course, we're at their mercy. We have to kiss their little butts. TQL, please, can you give me load? Oh, it's already covered, right? And do you see the way they talk to us? Wow, why are you
Mhm.
giving me
That was
speech
so
about the
rude.
debt? Well, because it's still posted on the debt. So if you telling me that that load doesn't exist, then also do your job, right? And go and delete that load from the debt. I don't need to hear the speech from TQL, oh, you should be using our load board. Still, we all have to do part of our jobs. But can they do that right now? Yes, because they feel like they have an upper hand. Believe it or not, when market was up, they were calling and begging you to give the truck, right? So this is switches. Of course, for the dispatcher now, it's tough, but this is a great way to build your logical skills and finally start paying attention to all the details, right? Where are we gonna go? What's gonna happen? Can I do this? Can I not do this? So I would say if you start learning now and dispatching now, you would be way better than people who come into high market, because in high market anybody can dispatch, right?
Mhm.
And still they think that they were dispatching good just because the prices were high. Even there, the pro dispatcher, the gross per month, the difference was between 7 to 8,000 a month with a pro dispatcher. Everybody else also had the good prices, but still, it's always a difference when you know what you're doing. What else did we figure out? Pre-booking. How important is pre-booking nowadays?
Mhm.
Very important.
It's a
Right?
must.
It's a must. Multitasking. Instead of sitting and guessing and looking at the load board, oh, this is not the perfect, oh, this is might not work. What are we doing? We're wasting our time. We'd better start
Mhm.
realizing, because you can sit and look and think, oh, it's gonna work, and the load is not even there, right? So that's why start calling, dialing. Details. Paying attention to details. Something changes, stop them right there. I'm sorry, but can you verify that pickup? Unfortunately, you posted San Antonio. Now it's picking up somewhere else. You told me that it's going to Fort Worth, but now it's going to Carlton. You telling me it's 20 miles and it's not 20 miles, right? Whose job is this to do right away? Yours and only yours. Who knows how far your driver is? Only you. Who knows what time he's delivering and what kind of facility? Only you, because you have previous rate confirmation, right? You as a dispatcher know how many hours he has on cycle, how many hours he has on a shift today. You know if he needs to go home or not. Broker doesn't really need to know that, right? That's why they don't really care. So that's important. Asking about commodities, paying attention, right, Maria, to type of equipment they need, because at 2000 sounded really good because it has specialty request, right? That lift gate, which not a lot of drivers have. So that's why probably. Plus, we did not even make phone call, but probably it's going to be also driver assist there. Usually with lift gate, it's a driver assist. Okay, what else did we learn? Understanding that you have to say correct states and cities, right, Kim? We're picking up in Wisconsin, not in Washington, right, Ali? We are posting truck in Maine, not in Michigan. So the basics of map, of geography, of terminology, of the abbreviation is a must, right? And the faster you guys gonna do it, or sometimes we're humans, we make mistake. You made mistake, ask. You'd better ask than start talking about something which doesn't make sense, right? Okay, so we'll start there. Maya, why do you want to be dispatch?
Well, actually, me, my mom, and my brother, we decided to start a trucking company. You know, we want to build some generational wealth from somewhere, just starting somewhere. And we said we would start off by dispatching. So I'm the school girl. I've been in school all my life, still in school. So they trusted me to take the dispatching class and pass on my knowledge. And I did a whole bunch of research because that's just who I am. I'm a researcher. And I found your class. I got addicted to your videos, and I was like, this is her. This is the class we're taking. And I do not regret my decision. You have pushed us, literally. You're very, very direct, and I appreciate that because it makes you want to work. Like if I'm behind on homework or I didn't study, I'm like, oh my God, Alex is gonna kill me. You know? So I really, really appreciate the pressure that you put on us. It really motivates us to want to do better, honestly, to want to know it, to want to study and practice and everything.
But do you see that today, as an instructor, as a teacher, I can see that you've been putting things because you have that lot of you, okay, let me do this, let me do this. Even when we were skipping, like, don't I have to do this? Yes, you do. So you got the principle down. It's just a matter of polishing. And I'm very proud. I said you also were sitting in other practices, watching others to get more comfortable. You've been participating, and that's what matters. Believe it or not, trucking is not going anywhere. And you're right. Transportation, but to go to transportation without knowledge is not going to build you that wealth. It's going to actually put your family out of money. So that's why it's very smart. Make sure you learn dispatch. Probably, Maya, the next one for you, it's going to be safety and compliance, because if you're going to open trucking company, you have to know the regulations, because unfortunately, it's too many things are running differently now. We cannot fake anymore like it's used to be, right? So that would be the next step. But as a family together, yes, market is going to change. Even now, equipment went down, so it's a good time to buy equipment, right? You just need to know the steps. So I'm very proud that you understand that first get the knowledge, then try to go to business. And a lot of people in trucking do this mistake. They jump into trucking first, spend all the money, get frustrated, lose their MC, and then they try to get knowledge. And hopefully that's why we're posting this, so people understand. First, invest in knowledge. Unfortunately, knowledge is the key to anything nowadays. Okay, thank you so much.
And I already told them we are taking all of her classes. I need to know everything about this business if this is what we are going to do, you know. So.
And that would be smart. Believe it or not, it's going to pay off you in a long run. Plus, it's going to make you stronger as a dispatcher, and it can give you the other source of income while you building your company. Because adding safety and compliance, wow, you can start doing IFTAs, you can start helping other people with management. For example, that's why Kim, like I said, you were a manager, so for you probably maybe not this class, it's too early, but in July, think about it, call back and we'll give you guys discount, because this is extra source of income, because small carriers, they cannot afford safety and compliance separate person, they just simply cannot. And it's a lot of things which needs to be done correctly to make sure that they can even grow further, right? So they can even stay in business for a year or two. Okay, well, thank you
Quick
so much.
question.
Yeah.
When I found out your videos, I lived in Georgia and in Miami. I mean, before that, I used to live in Florida, then Georgia, now back to Miami for 6 months. But yeah, I was like, because I have a lot of friends in as a truck drivers, and a lot of Serbians there dispatching,
Okay, so
outsourcing.
you original from Serbia, so it's a lot
Yes.
of Serbian companies. Yeah, so you have
Yeah.
a lot of drivers who have their own company or they driving. Okay.
So I was like a dispatch, trying, couldn't find any book. I was looking on Amazon to like educate myself about it, but nothing. And then I found your videos. Even in one video, I remember you said that you started the same way, like no foundation, nothing. Like when you started, you ordered some book and it was like something like funny, expensive, but no knowledge. And then I wasn't that good in English back then, and then I started working on that, got like some work from home jobs, and I think I'm ready now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
you are ready. You've been participating. Your English is perfect. So do you see? She found us 2 years ago. She
yeah,
understood that English has to be improved.
yeah.
So it's possible, right? This is a good example. Yeah, my English, and we're not privileged to be born in America. English
Hmm.
is not our first language. We do speak few other languages, right, Maria?
Yeah.
But still, you can achieve things, and if you put your mind into it, and you've been very good student in the class, all the
Thank you.
class work, and every time I would pick on you because I'm like, okay, we're gonna pick on those Eastern Europeans because we know where the scams come from. Let's see if she's
Hmm.
studying, right? Because we want to make sure that trucking is gonna be changed for better. Very
Yes.
proud. So would you recommend our class for
Yes, of course.
non-English speaking people, people from outside of the country? Because I do have a lot of students who took up my classes actually from Serbia. In the last three
Hmm.
classes, we have a lot of people from
Over there.
outside of the country, yeah, from over there, and they do,
Smart people.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course I would, and I'm looking forward to get a safety training, but not yet.
Not yet. First, you have to make sure, and again, you have to reach out first to all the Serbian company. Why? First, drivers will be more comfortable with you, right? Because most of
Hmm.
the drivers are comfortable when they can speak with you in their native language. So there's your big plus, right?
Yeah.
Big plus right there. So you have more potential right there. So if I call, for
Okay.
example, they're gonna say, well, you speak Serbian a little bit. So maybe, but for you, this is a big plus. So you should concentrate on that. But again,
Okay.
it
Thank
doesn't
you.
matter where they come from. Your English is
Yeah.
great. You have a knowledge. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, good job. Mr.
Yay,
Ali,
my turn.
your turn. Why dispatch? Why me? And what do you think? Because we were really putting you under the pressure today, right?
Oh yeah, I was like a deer in a headlight. I was like, what am I doing right now? But that was a good thing. The very first call after that, it was like, phew, I can make so many calls now.
Okay.
So I came across a video. There was like this one guy, how to make money from home, like $5,000 a week. That was like in 2021, and when it was like the boom in trucking, it's like you can make money. You can make like $5,000 per week just by like working from home. And I started like researching trucking. I came across a lot of uh, truck or dispatching gurus, you would say, but all of them were like showing me stuff like, oh, it's so easy, like you just call them, you book the load. And I always thought like it cannot be this easy. There has to be something. There has to be like more. There has to be something more about trucking. That's when I came across one of your videos on YouTube where your students were taking calls. And I was just like, wait a minute, what is rate per mile? Like, what is this? Okay, and what is rate con? Ah, okay, so this is that. All right. That's when I decided to like go for your class. And I made the best decision because you did not just teach me about dispatching. You taught me about trucking, like what a truck driver needs to do, such as permits. They have to file their IFTA, they have to do their safety and compliance and everything. Like you taught me that stuff. You did not have to, but you taught every single one of us like the basics, because nowadays dispatchers are like they're just like booking loads. They're not making sure that their truck drivers are like running,
Most of
that
them they
they're
don't even know.
progressing.
Most of them don't even know HOS. They still believe that it's hours of sleeping because they depend on people faking logbook because they say, well, it's not my job. I'm booking loads. Let driver to figure out. And this is one of other biggest mistakes dispatchers do. Well, it is your job, right?
Exactly. And I did call like cold calls like yesterday. I did like 4 or 5 of them, and 2 of them said like, how much gross can you promise me? And I told him, dude, forget about gross. We're gonna focus on like net profit. We're gonna take your cost per mile, and I'm gonna make sure that the rate that I'm giving you, rate per mile, is more than your cost per mile. In this market, that's what we're gonna focus on, and we're gonna make sure that our permits are good. We're filing IFTA uh, twice a year, right?
4 times
Once
quarterly.
for
Okay.
yes, quarterly, yes, and we're gonna avoid all those fines. That's how we're gonna survive this until 2024, mid 2024, when hopefully, fingers crossed, trucking takes over, so that at that time we can talk back to TQL. You know, like their attitude, like we can take them, like we can push it back at them. So
So how did it
that's
feel? How did it feel to have that extra knowledge? Because
oh,
usually you call the
confidence.
driver and they think that they know it all, and they're like, "Oh, come on! If you don't give me this gross, don't call me." So what do you think? Does it change their mind when they even talk to you like, "Okay, look at this. He talks about me surviving, being realistic, not promising me like everybody else. Oh yeah, you're still gonna have 12,000 per week, which is nonsense."
Exactly. So I think I might get a carrier pretty soon. And you know, the reason is like with this knowledge comes confidence. Like whatever question he had, I had an answer for it. Every single thing. Like he said, like, okay, I would love going to California. Like I want to go because I don't know, like there's this mindset like from West Coast to East Coast, like East Coast to West Coast, like it's always gonna be like super like they look at the gross, like I was mentioning, right? Like they look at gross. They don't realize that they have to go through so many states, and each state has like their own rules, such as like if you want to go to California, you have to make sure you have CARB uh certification, right? And if you're there's like this one more state I forgot, or what was it
New
name?
Mexico. We still need to have New
New
Mexico
Mexico.
permit. We
Yes,
need to make sure
yes.
that your average rate per mile. But why do they like it? Because when the market was high, guys, it's easier to do 2 loads instead of combining 5. And I can tell you this, why dispatchers used to push drivers to do the long loads. Because look at this, you book the load on Monday, he's delivering on Friday, it's 1 load instead of combining 4, right? Easy for dispatchers. So a lot of dispatchers, they train their drivers that don't do the shorter loads. Just go west to coast because they wanted to make sure that it's easier for them. That's when dispatcher was able to dispatch 10, 14 trucks because he would take 1 load, market was paying, no matter what, they were still making money. Try to now go to West Coast from New Jersey to California. What are you going to average? $1.68? You are talking about 5,000 miles, and you need to add at least 50 cents to even break it zero. So that's why you're right. Now we're concentrating on rate per mile. And since market is not paying, unfortunately, cost to cost cannot exist for most of the carriers. Who can still do the cost to cost? Let's think about it. Mega carriers who have dedicated lanes, right? Because hopefully they still getting extra money and they don't have the third party in the middle, right? TQL is T.H. Robinson. So because they have capacity, and because, on other hand, a lot of them still have to service what? Contract, right, Kim? Because those mega carriers, it's not that easy for them as well. They signed a contract. and they still have to service this lane for the quarter, for 2 quarters, or for the year. In trucking, it used to be this. Everybody would sign the contract for the full year and things were easy. Nowadays, even mega carrier is afraid to sign anything for more than a quarter because we cannot predict the fuel. We cannot predict what's going to happen. So that's why being a broker, even to go bid, that's why the problem is also we got too many brokers, new brokers, who do not understand the business and they cutting each other out. You understand? We have the guy who said, well, I used to give it to TQL CH Robinson while they wanted higher. Now I have another 12 brokers who promised me that instead of $2,500 going to Chicago to Dallas, let's say, they can cover it for $1,600. Why should I give it to TQL, right? They're still gonna find the trucks. So the brokers undercutting each other as well. And this is the reality. But in the end of the day, Ali, knowledge is a key. That's why we even put it on the website. Education is our core business because believe it or not, I better be direct, I better be pushy, but I know that I gave you foundation. And thank you for actually, what girls, supporting us with the Zoom nonsense. Review, he said, she answered all my annoyed questions. There is no such a thing. When my students ask the questions, that means that you following me. That means that you actually want to figure it out, right? So that's good. So for me, this is a big plus. And Leonid, why are you gonna be a pro dispatcher? Because I see today you are on a mission to call. I see that confidence is already there, right? Girls, you see that, right? He did once, twice, and he wants to call. So confidence is there. Knowledge is there. So tell, would you recommend my class to people who is outside of the country?
With all that information that you gave me, with all that ton of information that you give me, with all that depth of researching of the industry, with I have no chance not to be a pro dispatcher. And you were, I still think that you're a magician, you know, because all the thing that you told us that guys, you should believe that you've got a lot of info that will make you confident during your conversation. It works. It really works. This only hard thing is to make first phone call, and then you start to realize that you are easy to communicate, even with when the English is not your nature language. So, but all that info that you're pushing into our brain on that high level of frequency, so it just leaves no space for not to be confident. So you know, I'll tell you what, Ukraine must be proud of her daughter who is fighting there for trucking being better. So bravo to you.
Exactly.
Of course, I'm your fan. I'm your soldier. I'm ready. I'm ready to fight for you. To fight nearby you. Of course, I will recommend you. Of course, you're a professional. You are honor. You just straight as you are.
Right now.
I tell you,
well,
bravo.
I want to tell this. We are very proud. And one more time, thank you for fighting for the freedom. And one more time, remember, he started the class when the war started. So he was taking the classes while fighting with the dog, with the rifle. And it was so hard for me to teach because every time I see his eyes and other students, they didn't realize, and he was still taking class. And in my mind, it was only going, oh my God, what if the Russians gonna see the light from the computer? And because of my class, I was like under the real pressure. Like I told him, don't take it. And the thing is that at that moment, like for him personally, he needs something to get back to reality, to see like future, right? That look forward, come back finally, hopefully, to see my family and see my country soon. Wow, слава Україні!
Героям слава. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You made me so emotional. I have to call my mom now. I think she's not sleeping yet. It's been. Are there any other services you can offer as an independent dispatcher? Let's catch up on IFTA, safety and compliance, invoicing, and maybe simple hiring process of the drivers.